Hello everyone, it is Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art, where I love sharing art from my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some simple, fun, and quick art projects. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are working on the triplet whimsy trees with the little red birds. So let me turn you guys around and we will get started. So I have at my palette, I have out white, pink, this is Bahama blue, but any like aqua-ish blue will work. If you have my kit, you have these colors. It came with your complete kit. If this is the digital download, these are the colors I am suggesting. White, pink, two greens, a dark value, and then like a bright limey value, red and yellow. Then of course you can have some gold paint or some glitter, whatever you choose. It's your art, it's okay. I have pre-traced this. If you bought the complete kit, you have a pre-traced canvas. If not, you're going to want to grab your tracer or freehand your designs onto the surface of your choice, whether it's one canvas, separate canvases, a piece of wood, cardstock, whatever it is, totally up to you. The first thing I'm going to do is going to take the larger brush, and I always pretty much work with a flat brush. This one is about a 1/2 inch wide, and I'm going to just paint in the bottom with some white. And this is just going to give us the effect of a snowy hill on the bottom. If you hear noise in the background, we are in the middle of a pretty decent storm today. So hopefully I won't lose power or computer or Wi-Fi. And just bear with me with the little bit of the rain noise pounding on the windows. I am painting the edge. You can paint the edge, you can leave the edge. You might be working on a canvas board or a wood surface. Either way, whatever that is, it's up to you. Don't forget, at any point you have access to this recording and you could just hit the pause button and catch up, wait, go get something to eat, whatever it is you need to do, and come back. So I have base coated in the bottom all white. I'm going to go straight into my pink and I'm going to start doing my background. Now this pink here is a little bright, so I'm going to pick up more white and I'm going to start mixing it a little bit. Depending on your pink, depending on your art, you can mix it, you can leave it. I tend to be a little easy peasy in my lessons when I teach, and I don't get hung up on you have to do it this way. No. So I added a little bit of pink to my brush and a little bit of white to my brush, and I'm just coming in here now and I'm using kind of random strokes and I'm going around my whole design with the pink and the white. I'm going to pick up pink, I'm going to pick up white on my brush, and I'm going to come back in here and go around my entire design for the background. I don't really want to over mix my background. I want to see variations of pink and white. I'm just loosely going around my bird and my bird's beak. When we paint in layers. We work from the bottom up, even though that's sometimes hard to see, but we're working from the bottom layer of our art up. So if you get a little bit on your bird, on your star, on your tree, it's totally fine, because when we go back in with the next layer, the next steps, we're going to fix all that. So your background does not have to be perfect. If you want to grab your little brush to get in and out of the nooks and crannies, go right ahead. That's up to you. But we don't have to like completely worry about staying in the lines and not coloring outside the lines, because when we go back, we'll be able to fill all that in and fix anything that we don't absolutely love. So every time I go back to my palette, I'm picking up pink and white on my brush. And then I'm just kind of like randomly brush stroking on the pink and the white. See how I'm moving my wrist? I don't want to overmix my paint. I like seeing the variations in the pink and the white, and I'm just flicking my wrist, picking up white, picking up pink, and going around. Now I did paint right over my bird's little feet. It's easy enough to then go back and look at your reference photo and see where to put his little feet back on. And they're just two little black lines that make almost like a triangle, so that's okay. So if you paint over your little bird's feet, don't worry. I mean, I'm trying to avoid painting over everything, but it is totally okay if you go outside the lines a little bit. Okay. And I'm just moving along. Sometimes I like to grab my brush and outline. I will use my brush standing up straight on the chisel edge so I can outline. And this helps me concentrate, and it helps my eye go only where I need it to go to paint. Do I still make mistakes? Yes, of course. I get a little carried away and I'm just painting la-di-da. But it helps because it gives your eye somewhere to concentrate on, so you're not going to go way out and paint over elements that you're not supposed to paint over. It helps. So I'm just going to continue flicking my wrist, picking up pink and white, and painting around our last bird and tree here. And you can have your pink be as dark or as light as you want. And then again, of course, I'm going to go back with my pink and white, and I'm going to do all my edges. And again, this is optional. You can do your edges if you want. You can skip this part. Totally up to you. And I'm still picking up the pink and the white. And I'm just quickly brushing in my edges, okay? Then you want to come back to the front. If there's any places where you pulled over too much paint and doing your edges, you got a little carried away, just blend it in. Then I'm just going to use my dirty brush down here with a little bit of pink, and I'm going to swirl in just some pink down here in my snow. Not too much. I know it's hard to see with the glare, but just a light amount. I didn't pick up any more pink, and I just added a little bit of pink down here to my snow. And then I'm going to wash my brush. Now when I wash my brush, I use the 2-cup method. I have a drop of dish soap in 1 cup, and then I have fresh water in my other cup. And I will rinse in the soap, and then I'll go over and rinse in the fresh. And then I like to dry my brush really well. You have paper towel or a rag or whatever. And I like to dry my brush really, really well. Okay, I'm going to start out with the first tree. I'm going to go right into my darker green. And I'm going to start painting in my tree. I suggest continuing with the larger brush that you have. The smaller brush is more for the details at the end, and you'll have way too many brush strokes. I know you feel like maybe you can't control the larger brush, but the larger brush will help because you'll have way too many brush strokes if you use a brush that is too small for your surface. And this is how I told you now, if we got pink where we didn't want it, we're going to be able to fix it now with our green paint. Okay, so I did the first tree in, and I'm making a little bit. The first tree with the solid dark green paint. Not going to clean my brush. I'm going to come over here to the lighter green. I'm going to mix it in, and now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to start working on our second tree. So this is just my dirty brush with the dark green paint. And then I went into the light green paint. So again, I'm going to pick up some dark green. I'm going to pick up some light green. I'm going to come up here. And this is basically the same way that we did the background, where we picked up pink and white at the same time. But this time we're picking up dark green and light green at the same time. And I'm just filling in this whimsy tree. Just want to have a little bit of variation in our greens for our trees. Okay. I'm going to go back to the dark. I'm just going to give this a second little coat. Acrylic paints tend to dry a little quick, which is good because then you can come back in and do a second coat if you need to. So I just wanted to put a little bit of a second coat on there. Okay, then I'm going to go back to my green paint and we're going to do the last tree. Now you can make your trees whatever shades. If you want to darken up one of these greens and you have a little bit of black paint or brown paint, that's good. You can add a little bit of white to your dark green paint and make it a different green. I'll show you. I'll pick up a little bit of white in here. And then we have a totally different color. I put some white on my brush. So it's up to you. These are just fun, whimsy trees. Yours can be all the exact same color. Yours can all be the same. It is up to you. But this one I added a little bit of white to, and it just makes it a little bit of a softer color green. And then let's paint the stem on this one as well. Okay. All right, so we have all our trees base coated in, our background done, our snow done, and I'm going to wash my brush again. And now I am going to switch to my smaller brush. I am going to turn my design around. I have a Lazy Susie, but if you are just painting flat, just turn your design around. This way you're not putting your hand in your paint. And I'm going to get some fresh white, and I'm going to paint in my stars. If you need to get out more white, feel free. And I'm using the smaller brush, and I'm just completely base coating in our stars. I'm outlining them first, each of the points. And then I'm going back in and filling them in. And then our last one here. Our stars are not perfect. These are just whimsy little trees. Nothing perfect about them. And I'm just filling them in with the white paint. Okay. I'm going to go right into my yellow. I'm not even going to wash my brush. I'm going to right into my yellow, and I'm going to do the crown. So again, I'm outlining, and then I'm filling in. So I'm doing the sides and the bottom, the points, and then I am filling in. If you have gold paint or glitter, this is a great place to add the glitter to your crown, to your stars, and to your snow. When I say glitter, I mean glitter paint. I don't mean loose powder glitter. I mean glitter paint. All right. Now I am going to wash my brush and give it a good rinse. So far we have painted our snowy hill white. Then we went in with a mixture of pink and white and painted our background. And then I started with the darkest paint, the darkest green, and I filled in one tree. I started adding the light green, I filled in another tree, and then I had the light green, I added some white and the dark, and I have my third tree. Then I went in and base coated my stars white. And with my dirty brush, I just moved right into the yellow and base coated the crowns on the birds. And now I'm going to pick up my red paint and I'm going to base coat in my birds. So again, the first thing I want to do is outline. I use my brush like a pencil and outline the complete thing. Now, if you need to paint right over the wing, go right ahead. If you can skip it, that's fine too. Either way is okay. You have a reference photo of where to put the eye and where to put the wing. And the wing is just a sideways heart. So if you want to skip the wing and paint around it, okay. If you want to paint right over it, that's okay too. You just have to be very important. It is very, very important that your red paint dries before you go back to your bird with your white wing and your white eye, or you'll end up with pink. If you want pink for your wing and your eye, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. Just know that if your red is not completely dry, you're going to end up with pink, and that is pretty. It's just not white. And I'm using my little brush and I'm filling in. I could pick up a bigger brush and then have a third brush, but it's really, when you're filling in these little elements, it's really not necessary. So I used my larger brush for the background, and then I'm using my liner brush for the rest of the details and the birds. Again, if you need to hit pause, go right ahead. I tend to skip around, so while one part of my painting is drying, I am working on a different part. That's just how I work. But if you have people over, you're painting together at your at-home paint party that you got my kits for, you can like wait for this step to dry and then come back to it. Totally up to you. Or you can follow my lead and hop around. Okay? It's all good. Then I'm going to turn my painting back around. Oh, it's looking so cute already. And I'm going to wash my brush. All right. Now I'm going to start adding a little bit of detail to our trees. You can do what I do. You can make them all the same. You can make every one of them different. You can try the curly cues. If they don't work, you can do something else. Whatever you want to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my light green. And I'm going to make these curly cues. So I'm going to come up. All right, it almost looks like the letter L. Now when you're using your brush to make curly cues, the brush doesn't work both ways. You have to pick it up. So I'm going to come up, then I'm going to flip around, and I'm going to come down. If you want to practice these on your own, that is up to you first. Or if you think that they're just not going to work for you at all, you don't have to do curly cues. You just want to make sure that you have enough paint on your brush They're a whimsy design, so they do not have to be perfect. Like my little one in here got a little wonky, but that's okay. And again, I'm going to just do big ones here. So I'm going to come up. I'm going to come around and down. I'm going to come up. I'm going to lift my brush and come around and down. And I have my curly cues in the first one. Okay. Now this one has side to side curly cues. And they go like vertically. It's the same curly cue, but they're working their way up vertically as opposed to horizontally. So I'm just going in and I'm doing loop-de-loops. Up both trees. So there we have our curly cues. And then I'm going to come into my dark paint. Let me see if it's dark enough for over here. And I'm going to do it again. Come down. Come down. These curly cues are almost like a scripted E or a scripted L if you do script writing. And again, if these are too hard for you, if you've practiced to the side, if you've practiced on scrap paper and it's just not working, skip them. Don't use them because we're going to be doing other things. And your trees will look just as cute. Okay, so I've done all my curly cues. I'm going to rinse my brush and dry it off. Okay. Now I'm going to go into my blue paint and I'm going to very loosely start outlining the shapes of my trees. I'm coming down on the side and in on the corner. Down on the side and in. Down and in. And then a little one for the tree trunk. I'm going to do the same thing here. Ooh, coming down and in, down and in. And a little highlight on my tree stump. I'm a little tongue twisted today. Same thing here. And a little there. Now while I have the blue on my brush, I'm going to just add some blue down here to my snow, just to add a little bit more detail. Again, if you have glitter, you want to put your glitter down here, you can. But I'm just adding a little bit of detail, making my snow down the bottom look a little hilly. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the back of my brush right here. I'm going to dip in my pink paint and I'm going to start adding some random snow dots. You can make these bigger if you want. If you want them bigger, you can use a bigger brush. I like how they come out with the back of the handle. I'm using the handle of the brush. I'm dipping it in to the paint. And I'm just randomly adding these pink dots to my tree. You can make yours bigger if you want. You can make yours smaller, whatever you want to do. I usually get about 3 dots out of one dip. Now I am going to go to my larger brush that I used for the background. I'm going to dry it off. And I'm going, ooh, let me get some fresh white. Get some fresh white, and now I'm using the larger brush, and I'm going to randomly add white dots onto our trees. They look like snow, they look like ornaments. You can mix your pink and your white and get a lighter pink if you want, and use that for some of your ornaments. Totally up to you. And this is the part I said, if you just want to put these snowdrops and not do the curlies, that's totally fine. It's up to you. You don't have to do the curlies. I'm going to go back to my small brush again. And now I'm going to add a little bit of white highlight with my fresh white. So wherever we have the blue, I'm going to add a little white. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to add a little bit of white to some of my curls. Not all of them, just a few. I'm not painting totally right over my white. Over my blue. I'm just enhancing my blue and highlighting my blue with a little white. And then I'm going to give a white one down here too. I'm also coming in and I'm adding a little bit of white to some of my curlicues. Just highlighting like one side of them. And you can do this with blue if you want, the white, both, whatever. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to highlight our white outlines. I'm not completely painting over the blue with our white. I'm just highlighting the blue a little bit with some white. These do not have to be perfect. Some are thin, some are thicker. It's up to you. I'm going to come back in here, adding a little bit of white up and around these curlicues, and then back to my highlights over my blue paint. And then one for the stem again, the stump. Okay, I'm still waiting for my birds to dry. And as I wait for my birds to dry, I'm going to finish my background now. And again, I'm going to go into my white paint. And I'm just going to start adding some snow to my background. If you got green paint out here somewhere and you don't like it, you can be very strategic about where you put your snow. You could be, oh, I need to fix that. I got a little dot of blue or green or something where I didn't need it. And then you're going to go right there and add a snowdrop there to cover up your mistake. Nobody's going to know it's there except you. Okay, so now I did my background. I'm going to turn this guy around again. And with my small brush and a very light touch, again, you might want to practice this once or twice on your table covering or some scrap paper. It's up to you. I'm going to come in without putting my hand in the paint, and I'm going to do our little bird legs. Okay. Then I'm going to come in here and do this little, that's a frown, upside down smile for our bird's eye. And then I'm going to fill in his little heart wing. You can outline it. If you painted right over it, you can use a pencil and draw a new heart on here, or you can wing it with your paintbrush. This one's going to get a little bigger because I didn't have much of a divot in there for my heart. So I'm just going to make this one a little bit bigger, so I have more of the divot there for the heart. And that's it. I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight to my crown. And we are done. Isn't that cute? Oh, no, we're not done. Oopsie, 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 oopsie. We forgot his beak. So again, I had white on my brush. I'm just dipping back into the yellow. And I'm painting in another little triangle for the beak. Good thing I didn't forget that. That would have been so sad. There we go. And now we are done. So let me turn you guys around. And there we go. So there are our whimsy trees. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit the red subscribe button and do so now. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time.